Sound isn't very good, but she's saying let's get physical. So this is the Let's Get Physical essay. So you might have known these types of essays by the generic term descriptive essay, which, oh my gosh, that doesn't do much for us. So we call it the Get Physical essay, and this is the introduction to it. And the idea is that you will have read this Get Physical essay from eons ago, and you're looking for what we call images. So what's an image? An image, the term comes from poetry, is a sense impression. Not just a visual one, but it can appeal to any of the senses. So that's what we're looking for. We're trying to fill these essays with sense impressions, with images. And whether or not it has a nice, neat thesis or that sort of approach that's very academic is not the point at all. We're not looking for that. Obviously, you're using standard essay format in terms of the paragraphing, but you're not really trying to necessarily make a point. Now, this one does. It does have a thesis, but yours does not have to do that. You want to simply get those sense impressions in to the best of your ability. So this one, I'm going to assume you've already read through it, and we're going through just highlighting a few of the images. Like here's one, velvety aqua gray. That is one, right? And then on the next page, you look at this and you figure, okay, what images do we have? So I'm going to leave that to you. You might stop the video right now and see if you can find them. But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the images. All right. So if you stop that.
Fun yet?
Oh, isn't that silly? So there's one. Rotting oranges, right? That's pretty vocal, isn't it? A musty odor.
Not.
And there's the colorful one. Delicate green. There are many of them, right? And you know, this doesn't have to be some earth-shattering kind of experience, right? The idea is that it's real, that it's happened, that it's happening, and that it has that really sharp sense of that physical world around us, which is in many ways enchanting. So that's what we're looking for to become a part of. Right? Oh, there's another one. Shriveling. See the sense impression words that we're looking for. And of course, there are lots of them. And again, you might stop the video, look at the essay, and see if you can pick out a number of. Oh, that's terrible. I'm ashamed, really. Pukish white slime. But that's powerful, right? It doesn't have to be pleasant. We're looking for powerful. Oh, there's a powerful verb. Oozes. Another powerful verb. Still more. Oh! They're all over. Isn't that a great choice? Mottled. Molded dark spots. And this one does have a definite sense of beginning, middle, and end. Yours does not have to.
Are we having fun yet?
Because really what I'm looking for is for you to unleash the power of language and diction, which is another word for word choice, through words that convey the physical sense of unlocking the senses and actually experiencing. That may seem really simple, and it is if we put aside trying to somehow be overly intellectual about all of it. Here is a poem that, again, you want to take the time to read through this first, but look at these images. It's really a poem that's full of images. In fact, it makes its point by conveying the physical, not by abstraction. And look at the power. It's almost as if Langston Hughes decided, I'm going to make my point without driving it home with some sort of abstraction. In fact, I'm only going to use physical language. And that's what he does. And of course, this is a famous line, became a screenplay and then a movie, Raisin in the Sun. What happens to this dream deferred? And you know what that means, put off. Does it fester like a sore, stink like rotten meat, crust and sugar over? Maybe it just weighs us down, sags like a heavy loader. Does it explode? And all these powerful images having to do with, in this case, perhaps the dream of freedom, of equality. Now, this is an interesting one. This is from Helen Keller's 3 Days to See. These are the words that she used. And she seemed to be able to sense more walking through this forest scene. Sight might realize, and that's why I put this in here, because oftentimes it's a matter of not being visually overactive, rather actually maybe dimming our sight and using our other senses in a very powerful way. And of course, that's what she did. I leave that to you to read through. And of course, here's her. This is the screen without those words, and I've got that backwards. Oh well. So how do you do this? You know what? All I'm going to ask you to do this week is I'm going to show you right now. Go have a sense-stimulating experience. Simultaneously record it, either audio record it or take notes on it. Now, what do I mean by this? Here's a way to unlock your senses. Now, don't do this and then say, I told you to do it, and then sue me. I'm not going to say I'm telling you to do this, but it does unlock the senses. I learned some time ago from a fellow instructor in the health area that if you do this, you will unlock your senses without a doubt. You take a shower that's as hot as you can, or you immerse yourself in as water as hot as you can stand, and then you suddenly slam on the freezing cold. And oh my, will that unlock your senses. You will, well, like Victor Hugo did when he took ice baths before he wrote the chapters to Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Mis. You will unlock your senses in a very powerful way. Again, don't injure yourself and then say, I did it. But you know what? If you simply go out, have the experience, and record it on the fly, and just jot down the fragments of images, you'll find they're very powerful. And this could evolve into, eventually, your rough draft. And you might use the historical present. That is, it's happening now. Not necessarily, oh, this happened the day of the senior prom, or this was my experience when the band in high school went to Washington. Oh, my heavens. Please, no. Don't go way back in time, because that tends to be full of cobwebs and pretty dim in your memory. The sense impressions, the images, the concrete diction or word choice. All right, so then we go to the draft, and we'll do that next week. And then finally, we come to the final draft that's trim, polished, you know, all of that good stuff. But I'm gonna say you want this to be something that happened recently to you, or you're going to have happen after you view this video. This is a rather amazing essay, again, from years ago, but look at these images that she puts in here. Wet raven hair, sinewy legs, lolling. So powerful. Slender, golden, glowing. Wow. This is sort of a dreamlike essay, I have to say that. But is it ever remarkable? Wow. Take your time with us. These are just examples of approaches that you can use if you choose to. And there it is in color. That took a while. Okay, here's the historical present. Look at this. Wow, this is dear to my heart because it's about a guitar situation, but you can read through it and notice that it does use the present tense. This is happening now. That sense of happening now is very powerful. It just gives a sense of that. I gave you these two because, I'll be honest, usually I have you evaluate them as to how effective they are descriptively as get physical essays. And after you read it, I don't know, I think you're going to conclude that it's awfully layered with all sorts of inflated language. that it's rather abstract in the extreme and intellectual sounding, and bombastic, but it really doesn't get to the point of having powerful images. We could have summed this whole thing up in one sentence. It's hard to know yourself, right? Now here's another one. This one's sneaky. I think after you read this, you might agree with me that it has some very good qualities and some images like scraggly oak, but it's also really over-romanticized and sentimental and sappy and Hallmark card-like. So I would say avoid those two extremes, the intellectualization, the bombastic language, and then on the other hand, the overly romanticized sentimental approach. Just give it to us, whatever it is. Give us the physical images. Okay, well, that's it. Enough said, huh?